clarify for myself, when the team was first constituted, and this is partly, my question is partly about the structure, but also this particular case. When the team was originally constituted, would you have had a docket carrier and a lead investigator and a chief, what is it called? Chief investigating, the position held by Perumal. Would you have had a docket carrier and a lead investigator in this particular case?
No, Chair. I think that creates, that's where I'm creating the confusion. That's why I dropped the docket carrier. But I think it comes more when you look at that team. Yes. That team that is there, there's a number of different investigations.
Yes. Yeah. No, my question is simply this. On the Mukwele matter, yes, from the outset, you were the docket carrier / lead investigator.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. And perhaps just to close up this subject, because we're talking about systems and operations, do the lead investigators and the chief criminal investigators get appointed by the intake committee, or are they appointed differently? Without unpacking, just for my understanding how it works.
The appointments and designations of the team is done by the investigating director with their management. That's what I know.
Okay.
I only get to know about it when the designation comes and you're on the designations. That's where
I'm happy. Thanks for the clarification. Commissioners, I'm aware of the time, but if I may request, we're almost at the end. You're just left with 2 paragraphs to close this part of the proceedings. So I think you were at paragraph 16, you're just left with 16, 17, and 18, and then you would have completed your supplementary. If I may invite you to deal with those. Hmm? 16, page 5, bottom paragraph. If you could take it from there into page 6, your supplementary statement.
Thank you, Councillor. Chair, the allegations that I disclose as sub-dockets to General Khan relating to an investigation is with respect vague. There's no information who made the allegation, which docket, where, when, how was the docket closed. This is a serious allegation to make, so I would have justifiably expected underlying facts to be made available to me to ensure meaningful engagements therewith and respond. I think the response is given that...
Ms. Silo, this is the one where you say the question was misdirected.
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed.
The response is there that this did not refer to me with
yes.
regard to disclosing a docket.
Yes, thank you.
And
now, just to confirm then, because what you deal with at page 16 is to an issue that was wrongly directed to you, we propose that, as with this in the subpoena, paragraph 6.5 be considered pro non scriptu, and similarly the contents of this paragraph, and to confirm for the record that you will not be engaged about any issue arising from that subparagraph which suggests that you disclosed a docket involving General Khan unlawfully to him, just to assure you.
And that comment, Colonel, applies to 17 as well. Your 17.
yes.
Yes, it would by extension, yes, because the issue flow continues to paragraph 17, yes.
Yes. So, my apologies, Council. I was supposed to continue, Chair, with it. Chair, Commissioners, it remains to state that I do not work with SAPS dockets. Neither do I have access to SAPS dockets. I deny that I disclose any docket to General Khan relating to any ongoing criminal investigation against him.
Yes. Then finally, perhaps your paragraph 18.
My paragraph 18, should I be required to answer questions flowing from this affidavit, any matters in respect which has been determined that I would be of assistance to the Commission, subject to timeliest notice and the right to legal representation, I will be willing to make myself available for such.
Thank you, Colonel. Before we leave this supplementary statement, is there anything else you would like to bring to the attention of the Commissioners at this stage?
Nothing else, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Let us adjourn and resume at 11:35.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, Ms. Silva.
Thank you, Chair. Colonel Padiachi, we have completed the first part of your testimony, which is where you had the opportunity to speak to the statements that you have provided to the Commission and to answer questions for clarification. We now turn to the second part as practice of the Commission, process of the Commission, which is to engage you on both statements. Just to perhaps give you the heads up, please appreciate that we may not do so exactly in the order that you have addressed the issues in your statements. We take the contents of your statements in their totality, and then we decide how to have an engagement with you. Would that be acceptable to you?
Understood.
Thank you. Before we do so, and it's in part informed by the engagement you had with the commissioners just before tea, and in response to a question in response to an issue you had raised about referrals to IDEC, may I perhaps invite you to explain in general terms how the system works, so you give us a framework, and I suggest we do so with reference to the NPA Act, Act 32 of 1998. I trust you have it before you. You read from it, in particular Section 7, sub 1, capital A. And in that regard, it would help if you took us through Section 7, Section 27, Section 28, and you had referenced investigations in terms of Section 28, sub 13, and then we get to the intake committee. The process is followed until it culminates in a criminal case and eventually into prosecution. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you don't have to be to give that general understanding with particular reference to any docket. I just want us to get at least a common understanding of how the system works. And then we will we'll get back to deal with specific dockets if we must. So that's the request to you, and you may start where you think is the logical starting point about how IDEC gets involved in investigations, the process it follows, the process of decision-making to culminate in criminal charges being preferred against individuals and eventually the actual prosecution. Okay? I'll leave it to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Chair, Commissioners, I think what I will start with is the act that is relevant to the investigative directorate against corruption, the mandate, and how the flow processes and whatever there. So, Section 1A of the NPA Act sets out the mandate, or it's where the investigating directorate obtains its mandate from, and I want to read it into the record, if that is fine.
Before you do so, may I correct? You said 1A, 7 sub 1A, Section 7 sub 1A, not Section 1A.
It's Section 7.
Yes.
1A.
Yes, you had omitted to mention 7, Section 7. Thank you.
No, apologies, Stephen. Section 7, 1A. There is hereby established in the office of the National...
There's 1. It's not... You say 7, 1. There is
7
only 1.
A.
1.
Thank you, Chair. We'll get it right. Section 7, 1A. It is hereby established in the office of the National Director and Investigative Directorate to be known as the Investigative Directorate Against Corruption, to investigate and carry out any functions incidental to investigations relating to serious, high-profile, complex corruption, commercial, and financial crime cases arising from recommendations of the Commission of Inquiry referred to the investigating director by the National Director in terms of Section 28(1)(b), or refer to the investigating director in terms of Section 27, subject to Section 26(2), relating to additional related offences or categories of offences, including common law offences of fraud, forgery, uttering, theft, and any offence involving dishonesty. Relating to additional related statutory offences or category of statutory offences, including contraventions of Prevention of Corrupt Activities Act, PRECA, Act 12 of 2004, the Prevention of Organised Crime Act 98, Act 121 of 1998, the Protection of the Constitutional Democracy Against Terrorist and Related Activities Act 2004, Act 33, the Public Financial Management Act 99, Act 1 of 99, the Local Government Municipal Finance Managed Act 2003, Act 56 of 2003, the Financial Intelligence Center Act 2001, Act 38 of 2001, and any other statutory offence involving dishonesty. So this particular section of the NP Act is where the investigative director takes its mandate and direction from. So I will start with a flow process of how complaints come to the investigative directorate in terms of Section 27. We call it a Section 27 referral, but Section 27 of the NPA Act. Section 27 deals with the reporting of matters to the investigating director. If any person has reasonable grounds to suspect that a specific offence has been or is being committed, or that an attempt has been made or is being made to commit such offence, he or she may report the matter in question to the head of an investigative director by means of an affidavit or a firm declaration specifying the nature of suspicion, the grounds on which suspicion is based, all other relevant information known to the declarant. So that refers to a complaint that is referred in terms of Section 27. That's the starting point. Section 28, inquiries by the investigating director. In terms of Section 28(1)(a), if the investigating director has reason to believe, to suspect that a specific offence has been or is being committed, or that an attempt has been made or is being made to commit such offence, he or she may conduct an investigation on the matter in question, whether or not it has been reported to him or her in terms of Section 27. So, when a complaint comes in, it comes in under an affidavit in terms of Section 27 from a complainant. The 27 comes to the head of office. The head of office is the investigating director. It goes to the case intake committee. They will look at this referral and will decide whether it falls within the mandate of IDAC. It's tested within the IDAC criteria. From there, looking at it, there will be two things that would take place. If there is sufficient information on that referral, a full-blown investigation can be conducted in terms of Section 28(1). If there's still further investigation to be done, then a Section 28(13) is approved for a preliminary investigation. So we start with the 27 coming in with a preliminary investigation on Section 28(13). A Section 28(13) is approved for a preliminary investigation by the investigating director, the head of office. During that authorization, the preliminary investigation is authorized. It lists out the offences that's going to be investigated. It lists out a designated team of prosecutors and investigators. So there's a list of all these people that are put in there. That is there. That designation is their authority to proceed and conduct the preliminary investigation. So once that preliminary investigation is authorized, the preliminary investigation starts. So after a period of time, investigation, interviews, subpoenas, or whatever is done to confirm that there is a preliminary case here. It is taken back to the investigating director. The matter is considered by management, and then a full-blown investigation, Section 28.1, is approved. So within the Section 28.1 investigation, if there's additional expertise, additional investigators, or other role players that need to form part of this investigation that has come up now from the preliminary investigation, these additional people are added on to the designation and authorization of this full-blown investigation. Thereafter, the team is assembled, the prosecutors, the investigators, and the investigation commences, directed and led by the prosecutors. The investigators in that team, or I should say, just to list that team, there's a Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions. There are senior advocates, junior advocates, depending on availability, one or more. And then there's a Chief Criminal Investigator who is responsible for the senior criminal investigators and the criminal investigators. They report directly to the Chief Criminal Investigator in that structure. So once that is put together, the Chief Criminal Investigator assembles his investigators. He's got more or less the puzzle on hand of the investigation, and then he tasks the investigators accordingly. So in that specific task, it will be like, for example, myself, that is appointed now to conduct this investigation with the assistance of the other investigators. So you go out, you interview, obtain witness statements, other related evidence, and that is brought back. The team, together with the prosecutors, look at this evidence, they analyze this evidence, the prosecutors look at it, and if they see that there is sufficient evidence based on facts, then they will start with a charge sheet on who they're going to charge and what charges they're going to put. So a memo is put together with a charge sheet. That charge sheet and the memo is presented to the Deputy Director of that team. He looks at it to see that, okay, the facts, the evidence is supported by facts, that there is evidence, and the docket is now ready. That is then now taken to management. It's presented before management. Management will decide, yes, they agree that it should go on, and then the next step is the matter is ready to be enrolled. So the enrollment procedure is thus: you look at the prosecutors look at the charge sheets, they get the charge sheets ready. They also do a consultation note, which is a note to the Director of Public Prosecutions in the region where the matter is going to be prosecuted. So that consultation note is sent to the Director of Public Prosecutions. He or she agrees that yes, you can proceed to prosecute the matter in that particular region. Once that is done, the charge sheet is prepared. Then the enrollment processes start, where an application is made for J50s, that is your arrest warrants, or your J175s, if that is necessary, depending on the circumstances. Then
you said J175?
it's a summons. It's a summons to appear. So once that is done, your warrants are prepared, your affidavit is prepared, your warrants are prepared, and then you are ready for court. So then you will plan your operation and to execute your summons or your J50s. You will also have, depending, during that time, we will pick up, but this is Schedule 5, Schedule 6, then you'll start preparing bail affidavits. Because with regards to Schedule 5, there are serious offences, and it will be on the accused, onus on the accused for him to be released on bail. So then you make arrangements with the court, you have the matter enrolled, and then the processes flow from there.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yes, Chair.
so are you at the level of process at this stage?
Yes,
Oh, all right, all right.
clarification
Just
question
on
from me.
process. All right, all right.
Thank you.
Oh, but maybe let me ask this. What's your understanding of let me say, the triggers or the entry points in accordance with paragraph A of the subsection, that is 7(1)(a), capital A, the smaller a being paragraph A of the section. What's your understanding of the triggers or the entry points? I know this is a legal question, and we as commissioners must engage in an interpretative exercise. But what I want to get an idea of from you, because you apply the section in your daily activities. But as I say, we will have to interpret it for ourselves. It refers to investigations relating to, I would say, three triggers: serious, high profile, or complex. And then the complex corruption. And that seems to relate, the third relates to commercial or financial crimes. But the question I want to raise is, must this be read conjunctively, in the sense that all three triggers must be present, or must it be read disjunctively, in the sense that one trigger may be sufficient? You don't have to have a serious, high-profile or complex corruption case. If it's serious, that may be sufficient, but it's doubtful that high-profile all on its own would be enough, because there's something that's not serious at all, may be high profile in the sense that it's out there in the public domain, and the public in general is interested in it, and it's high profile in that sense. So high profile may be doubtful standing all on its own. But I just want to get an idea of how you apply this in practice. Is it disjunctive? Is it conjunctive?
So my understanding of it is that it's just serious and complex corruption. That's how I look at it and how I read it from my perspective.
So all three triggers, as I call them, must be present. Is that what you mean?
When you look at the serious, high-profile or complex corruption, any one of the three, it's any one of the three.
So it's disjunctive.
Yes.
Thank you.
If I may follow up.
But as I said, it's our function to interpret it.
Thank you. If I may follow up on that, and I do appreciate that interpretation is a function for the commissioners. Perhaps how do you treat Section 7(1)(a) within IDEC? If you are confronted with a Section 27 referral dealing with a high-profile or complex corruption case, do you require it to be serious, or it doesn't have to be serious? As long as it's a high-profile or a complex corruption case, you handle it. What has been the practice thus far, at least? Thank you.
Well, in terms of the practice that I'm used to, it will be serious corruption. I mean, high-profile, corruption is corruption. So we look at the serious corruption. I wouldn't balance myself on high-profile. I would go more on the serious corruption and emphasize on the serious corruption, and not bother about whether it's high-profile.
Okay. And then
But it's there. How can you not bother about it, because it's there? It's specifically provided for in the section. Sorry, Mr. Yes.
I don't want to go into that, Chair, because if I have to just say that maybe because there's too many high profiles involved in the corruption. That's why they bring it in. But no, Commissioner, I go on serious corruption.
Yes, Ms. Madlanga.
Thank you, Chair. My question is then, what is the threshold for determining whether the corruption you are confronted with is serious or not? Do you have a particular threshold? Is it monetary? Is it impact? Is it, how do you determine that the corruption case before you is serious or not serious?
I can only give my own personal view in it, but the case evaluation committee they have their set criteria on what they will take and what falls in the mandate and what should be there on it. And I think maybe, what they decide, we have to go with. But obviously, when I look at certain factors, it's public interest, it's out there, it's high-level government corruption, it's in a space there.
And perhaps, as the chair correctly pointed out, you not being a lawyer, I shouldn't get carried away. It might be unfair on you. But I think you gave a good indication of where perhaps we may take this question for our own clarification. You said the evaluation committee determines what is serious based on a number of factors that you don't necessarily have to know about.
Exactly, and I don't have any authority on that matter, because they would decide and it will come down to us.
I'm happy with that. Who constitutes this evaluation committee? That is one, and does the head of IDEC, is the head of IDEC part of this committee or not?
Chair, Commissioners, I can't comment on that because I don't have the knowledge of how they operate on management. I'm still a couple tiers below that, so I don't have on that level.
No, I will insist on my question. If it is a permanent structure within IDEC, you would know about it. Does IDEC have an evaluation committee where all these questions go as a general rule, or are you suggesting that the committee gets constituted randomly from time to time? How does it work?
I wouldn't say, from my observation, that's why I really can't comment on it, because I only get to know when it is received down to us as investigators. So as far as a permanent structure that's on the organigram or somewhere, it's not there. From what I know is that a case intake committee is put together. It could consist of the ID investigative director himself and her management. So from herself and her management, she will put something like this. But I cannot say, because I have no knowledge on that part of it, of who constitutes that, which particular people are involved there. But I know it would be the head of office that will constitute such committee, because it stops with the head of office.
And by head office, you mean the ID, and you mean current ID being Advocate
the
Andrea
investigating
Johnson?
director.
So you're suggesting that we perhaps take the issue up with her when she does come?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
But Colonel, you know about the existence of this committee, because if you didn't, you would not have mentioned it.
Yes.
Is this appointed on an ad hoc basis, or is it a committee that exists on an ongoing basis? Because not to know about that would be a bit strange.
I speak in terms of a fixed. I don't know about fixed. I think it is something that is ongoing when the need arises or whatever matters come in.
Surely you get cases all the time, don't you? New cases. You get new cases all the time, don't you?
Yes, sir. I know that there's cases that do come in.
So you seeing that you are mentioning the committee, you would know whether it exists on an ongoing basis or whether the committee gets appointed on an ad hoc basis. You should know that.
So I can answer that in a sense, Commissioner, and forgive me for my lack on that, is that I would hear the committee and the like. So I would hear it, and it's not there that I know, okay, this is the committee, this is where they sit and whatever. I would hear it through the channels of how the processes flow when stuff come in. So basically, I'm getting that information.
You said you are a couple of levels down. Can you just, in 2 sentences or so, give us that hierarchy. Explain you being 2 levels down. In response to Ms. Zillo, you said you don't have much detail or you don't know much about the committee because you are 2 levels down. I just want to understand the 2 levels down. It's you here, and then what other levels are there?
Let me put it in perspective, Chair, Commissioner. You have the head of office, then you have the deputy directors of public prosecutions. That's your man, and then you have your chief criminal investigators, chief financial investigators, and your chiefs in the others. So that are the 3 levels of management. Below that, you have your senior state advocates, you have your senior criminal investigators, senior financial investigators, and below that you have your state advocates, criminal investigators, financial investigators. So that's where I fit in on that level.
That's what, about
Third tier.
fourth or something, third? Oh, okay.
Yes, third tier.
Also, you use couple loosely, not meaning 2.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks. I think, as you suggest, we will take it up with the ID.
Yes.
When she just might be able to cast light on this.
Yes, I think she will be better placed
Yes.
to explain it.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
You, in dealing with Section 7 and Section 27 and Section 28, you drew a distinction between preliminary investigations, and you then referenced the appointment of this team, including prosecutors, leading up to the drawing of the charge sheet, and then applying for the warrants of arrest, correct? You did that.
Yes.
Now, I need to understand, the Section 27 referral is received. It follows the process as you have outlined. It is considered by the intake committee, and they decide whether or not it falls within the mandate, and all those steps. At which point does it convert from being an internal investigation to a criminal case? And what is the trigger for that?
Once from my understanding, as I explained, once the intake committee decides, no, this falls within the mandate of IDEC, the investigating director and the management and the investigating director, the authorizes a Section 2813 investigation, which is a preliminary investigation. She authorizes it, appoints and authorizes and appoints.
When Section 2813, that's a preliminary investigation. As I understand, perhaps if we look at 2813, just so we don't talk at cross purposes, if you could turn to Section 28 sub 13. Do you have it?
Yes.
Okay, it reads, and I quote, if the investigating director considers it necessary to hear evidence in order to enable him to determine if there are reasonable grounds to conduct an investigation in terms of Section 1A, the investigating director may hold a preparatory investigation. So at the point where the Section 27 complaint goes to the intake committee, to get into Section 28, what's the outcome of that process? Is there a decision to proceed with a Section 2813 investigation, or does it then become an investigation, as you said, in terms of Section 28(1)(a? I'm trying to...
If there's, in the referral, there's sufficient evidence, information, everything, then there's no need to go into inquiry. You can go into a full-blown investigation.
Okay.
Because the initial part of it, the preliminary, is to verify that information, do your necessary investigation, and then when you see that, no, there is substance, there's a prima facie here, then it goes into a full-blown investigation, which in terms of Section 28(1). So
Okay.
The preliminary is just to confirm, identify this, etc.
I'm clarified. Now that we are in an investigation, what is the trigger for it to become a registered criminal case? Or is it a registered, does it become a criminal registered case at that point when it becomes an investigation? If you could just clarify for me.
A criminal case can be registered during both phases.
Okay,
Because while you're busy with the preliminary investigation, you're going to find that there is prima facie evidence and et cetera. Then you will register a case.
okay,
So moving into, if you register it in the preliminary investigation, that will be your reference on the 28-1 when you're conducting your investigations. On
Okay.
the preliminary investigation, you will be busy with an inquiry number.
okay. I'll catch up at some point. Now, thanks, that is quite helpful because if there are no further generalities as regards the framework to provide to the commissioners, then I would like to apply what I believe I have learned to specifically the Mukwele investigation, which is what General Kumalo specifically complained about and on the basis of which you were issued with a Rule 3 notice. Okay.
Advocate, before you go there, can I just get clarity from the Colonel? Colonel, IDEC is part of the NPA, right?
Is correct, sir?
Yeah. Does it ever happen, and I'm not asking you to interpret legislation, just in practice, what you know, does it ever happen that when a case is opened by the SAPS, it gets taken over by IDEC? How does it work if on the same facts, the same issues, somebody went to a police station and opened a case and a docket is opened? How does that in practice reach IDEC? And if there's already a case with SAPS, does it ever happen that IDEC takes over the investigation and runs with it?
So, Commissioner, what I can say there is we would normally get, if SAPS decides they have a case which they want to refer to the investigative director for some other reason, yes. But when you look at a complainant that has referred a matter to SAPS and is not satisfied because alleged corruption or something that's, that he suspects with regards to his case not being investigated properly. So he sets out his facts in that 27 referral, why he didn't go to SAPS, the reasons, whatever, and that's where the case intake committee, I think that they will look at those factors there. I presume that that's what they do there to decide whether, look, it falls within our mandate, no, this should go to SAPS. So it's all what is there in that referral that is there.
So, in the case where there's been a referral first to the SAPS, and then now there's a Section 27 referral, and your committee, your intake committee, has decided that this falls within your mandate, the IDEC mandate, and IDEC takes that over. What does that now not result in parallel cases? If there's no formal takeover from the SAPS, don't you end up with a case within the SAPS because it's been reported in the SAPS system and it's not been withdrawn, but the same case has now been referred to you by the complainant in terms of Section 27? How does IDEC deal with that?
Commissioner, the only matter that I can relate to that with something like that, because I hadn't had the experience of yet where there's a docket at SAPS and then IDEC takes it over. The particular situation that where I can personally say, okay, because I know of it, is where dockets was opened by a complainant at various police stations, and then he was not happy, and these dockets, he didn't hear about them, and these dockets were closed. So when that Section 27 referral came, we looked at these cases, we requested the case dockets from the SAPS, and I think it was the inspectorate that had the dockets, but the dockets were closed. And then we took those dockets. We requested them, and we took those dockets to assist us in our investigations. But in other examples where something is that SAPS is already investigating, They're running with that investigation. Like in this particular matter, on one of the legs of the matters that we are busy with, DPCI is already engaged with that, so we are not involved with it, because it's also reported that this particular thing took place. And when we looked at it, it's in DPCI space. We liaised with them, they are busy with their investigations, so that doesn't form part of our leg. We stopped there and we said, no, they're busy with it.
Still at a general level, but using these facts the present facts of the Mukwele matter, but I'm still having a general discussion with you. We know the complainant from other evidence. We know that Member of Parliament Adams, he went to police stations to report before this matter of Mukwele gets escalated through, you say, Section 27 to the IDEC, but we know that he started at police stations. I'm trying to understand that. How do you deal with that kind of situation, which we know is the facts in this case?
Am I getting you clear on that, Commissioner?
Okay, let me try again. Member of Parliament Adams
Commissioner?
goes to a police station to lay a complaint against General Kumalo and others relating to the Mukwele appointment. He does that. And then he decides to refer to IDEC in terms of Section 27, the same complaint. He completes an affidavit and he submits it to IDEC in terms of Section 27. My question is, how does IDEC deal with that? Because on the face of it, it looks like you still have an active complaint under the SAP system because it's not been closed or withdrawn, but the same complaint is now with IDEC. How does IDEC manage that?
In the particular matter, Commissioners, a request is made for the dockets with SAPS. And like I said, the dockets were open in Cape Town and other police stations, which found its way to the inspectorate. And we requested those dockets. We said to SAPS, we received a complaint and we require these dockets. So the dockets were given over to us. In the dockets, there was hardly anything in those dockets. So what we did, because there's hardly anything in those dockets, we started to investigate further. So
you took over
yes,
the SAPS investigation. Yes. Does it mean that investigation that complaint which was lodged at SAPS is now closed? Is that how IDEC deals with it? It's now closed, we are now investigating it. All right, thank you.
And to add more, Commissioner, on the system, on the SAP system, it will show that dockets are in possession of IDEC. And IDEC is responsible for that docket, and all the processes that flow must be still reported to keep the CAS system or criminal system updated.
I guess what I was trying to understand is the principal position of you don't say, but the matter is already with SAPS. IDEC doesn't say that. IDEC takes it over.
Takes it over.
Okay, thank you.
So you don't have like a duplication running on the same matter.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. It's a matter I was going to seek your explanation on, but now that Commissioner Baloyi has started, I might as well pose my questions. You say that the dockets, and in this specific case, I said let's turn to I'll call it for the Mukwele matter, and I mean no disrespect, and so terming it, but just for ease of reference. You say you requested the dockets that Mr. Adams had opened in Cape Town and in Gauteng from SAPS, and then you assumed responsibility for the investigation. My question is, in so doing, is it a negotiated settlement between IDEC and SAPS, or is IDEC asserting its authority that as soon as it receives Section 27, the law empowers it to collect the dockets and take charge of the investigation? Can you explain how that happens? And if you are asserting your authority, it might help if you refer me to a specific section, whether in the NPA Act or any other prescript you can think of. Thank you.
Chair, Commissioner,
Apologies, let's just give the commissioners a moment, thanks. Thank you, Chair. Yes, you may continue. Thanks, Colonel.
Thank you, Council. Chair, Commissioners, when we look at it, IDAC doesn't just go and take dockets. IDAC is tasked with an investigation into which there are allegations made. And in this allegations, the complainant has said that his open dockets, he's believed that his dockets or his cases have been interfered with or whatever from what's there. We requested those dockets, officially requested those dockets to see and verify what the Section 27 or the complainant is saying. So we requested those dockets. When we looked at those dockets and with the referral, it confirmed those dockets do exist and that those dockets were not really investigated. There was just that there was insufficient evidence or whatever in those dockets. Was it like 6 or 7 of them? So from the...
When you say 6 or 7 of them, are you saying there were 6 or 7 different complaints?
When I look at it, the Cape Town dockets and the dockets that were opened here in Gauteng is about basically one and the same thing. It's like duplicated. But
Yes.
when you pull the dockets together and it was the affidavit in it mixed everything up. Like in one affidavit, it's talking about the other docket or the complaint in the other docket. It was like mixed up. But basically, when I narrowed it down to 4 different complaints. One of those dockets that as I indicated, was already being investigated by, I think it's DPCI. It had to do with something that was purchased or what. They were busy with that. So that docket there, the actual docket that was opened, we didn't interfere with that docket. We took the remaining dockets and we conducted investigations from there.
When you say the actual docket that was opened, we didn't interfere with it, you seem to distinguish other dockets that were open or not open. Just explain why the one you speak of it as the actual docket that was open, we didn't interfere with it, and then the others, we interfered with them or we dealt with them. Just explain that.
Let me get clarity there, Commissioner. Let me give you clarity there. There were 3 dockets opened in Cape Town, and they were...
And all of them relating...
repeated under a different CAS number. So you had Cape Town CAS 16 something.
Oh, just a minute. Your mics have gone off. And before that, I thought your voice was also fading.
Thank you, Chair. The Cape Town dockets was like 1651, 1652, whatever. Then the Gauteng, I'm going to say Gauteng because it's Orlando Station and Valeria.
As in the Protea.
Sorry, sir?
Protea as well.
I
Or
picked
not,
up
or am I...
Orlando
Yes.
and Valeria. Those were the
Okay. Okay.
those were the CAS numbers.
Maybe I'm mixing up different cases. All
Yes.
right.
So amongst the dockets that were here, one was already being investigated by DPCI, and they were already commenced with that investigation. But the other dockets where nothing was being done in it, it was just, I would say no investigation was done in it. So we signed for the dockets, we took over those dockets, we had a look at the dockets, and we put them together, but this docket and this docket is one. It's the same, and that's how we came up with the different CAS numbers. But what has happened with those dockets, when it was taken either to the case numbers. There was problems with the case numbers. It means that the complainant went to a police station and registered a complaint there that did not belong to that police station. It belonged to another police precinct. So what happened, that case number was put in that docket and went to the new station, but they didn't change the name of the station on that docket. We pick up a particular one, what we will say I'm going to call it the Lushaba matter. We had an original CAS 404, Valeria CAS 404. So we conducted our investigation in respect of, under this CAS 404, and we went through all the processes of it, and until it came to the part where we now had to start with the enrollment processes. And when we checked on the CAS system of the station, that this CAS does not exist. So we had to do a search. The investigating officers had to do a search, and then we established that the correct CAS number was 278 for that docket. So that 404 should have been scratched out, and 278 should have been written on the docket. And then the other cases too as well, 403, 405, they all had Valeria proper CAS numbers. Just the face of the docket was something else.
Colonel, you say that the complainant, Mr. Adams, came to IDEC and complained about the progress or lack of it on the dockets. Did I understand you correctly?
Commissioner, I just want to correct there. I don't know whether he came to IDEC or where.
Or where you, but you did talk about him complaining.
The complaint.
About the lack of progress.
Yes.
And if he did not come to IDEC, how did his unhappiness about the lack of progress come to IDEC? I'm sure you've explained this, but I just want to understand, because I sort of assumed that the complaint was made to IDEC, which is what brought IDEC into the picture. So if he did not complain, or rather make his complaint at IDEC, did he make it where? At SAPS? And if at SAPS, where within SAPS? I'm sorry if you've touched on this. My questions stem from my misunderstanding, because, as I say, I thought the complaint was made at IDEC.
Commissioner, the complaint, everything is in the referral. So he made his complaint in the referral. So he gave his allegations and whatever and complained. He opened dockets, but nothing. So it's in the referral.
A Section 27 referral,
27 referral.
To
That's
IDEC,
where it is.
To IDEC.
Yes, why he's bringing it to IDEC. I'm bringing this complaint to IDEC because I opened the cases there. It's in the Section 28 referral.
So I'm correct then when I say the complaint was made at IDEC?
Okay, sir. No, when I take it I've been at the office of IDEC, or did IDEC go to him, or he came to IDEC? So it's just that I was trying to get.
Two. The complaint was made to IDEC.
To IDEC, yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
I think it's the at and the two. The complaint was made to IDEC.
You're confusing me, because I thought you were saying no. That's why I wanted to know, if not to IDEC, then who was it made to? So complaint made to IDEC.
Went to IDEC, sir.
And as the complaint was being made, it was a Section 27 referral.
Correct.
All right. Thank
Correct, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. And the complaint to IDEC, was it a complaint about failure to investigate the dockets opened at the various police stations, or is it a different complaint that is now brought to IDEC about the issues actually raised in those dockets? What was the actual complaint?
I think the issue of the complaint is that he alleges that he opened cases, but his dockets disappeared. I'm just recalling from what was said. And then he alleged the corruption in that referral, which we took our lead from.
Okay. So the complaint wasn't requiring IDEC to investigate the conduct of SAPS by failing to investigate the cases he had opened. That was not the
The way I
complaint.
look at the 27 referral was to look at his complaint of corruption,
Okay,
the corruption part, not the failure of SAPS to
investigate.
to investigate. He focused on the corruption.
But he does inform IDEC of the fact that he has opened these dockets at the various
Yes.
police stations.
Yes.
Now, I go back to the question I'd asked because I need that clarity. You then become aware that he actually has opened actual cases with SAPS. So SAPS is seized with that matter, with those matters. Whether or not it investigates, we'll get to that. At the point you go to SAPS, as IDEC having received the Section 27 referral, I asked, do you ask for the dockets? Is it a request to SAPS? Or are you taking over those dockets and asserting your authority over matters contained in those dockets? What exactly is happening there? I desperately need that clarification. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Commissioner, what I would say from my interpretation is the dockets were requested from SAPS. It was requested.
So if they are requested, then it is open to SARS to refuse the request. Is that ever an option for SAPS?
Yes, there's a possibility of SAPS refusing.
Okay. And how is this request expressed to SAPS? Is it in writing, maybe to National Commissioner, dear National Commissioner, right, from IDEC, or is it verbal, or is it by showing up at the respective police stations and requesting the documents? My apologies. How exactly is the request made?
I believe that request was done in writing.
It was done in writing.
It was done in writing.
And it would have been by and addressed to who?
It would have been addressed to, I think during the initial part of this request, I was not on the investigation at that stage. So I'm just recalling from what was said. I think it was to the head of the detectives, to the head of detectives, if I can recall, but I'm not too sure, subject to requesting those dockets.
Yes.
And those dockets, as far as I can recall, were lying at the inspectorate and not at the detective or at the station. It was lying at the police inspectorate.
Okay. So the request is made to head of detectives. Of course, you do say subject to correction.
Yes.
But there would be a formal request that we can locate.
Yes.
By, would it be correct to assume at that stage, would it be by the ID, or who within IDEC would address such a request to the head of detectives?
The request would have come from the head of office.
Okay. That's what we
It will
call
come
the
from the
ID.
head. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything will have to go through the head of office before it goes out.
Okay. So I will try and track that down. Thank you so much. That helps.
IDEC, sorry, Mr. Lolo. IDEC would not have been entitled to simply go ahead with the investigations. In terms of Section 27, it would have had to be satisfied that there were reasonable grounds to suspect that a specified offense has been committed. That's what Section 27 says in so many words. So you don't just get into a matter and as you go along, you end up finding that there is indeed something here. And you end up formulating charges and you commence a prosecution. That's not how you do it. You must be satisfied at the point of entry when the person comes to make a Section 27 referral. You must be satisfied that there are reasonable grounds for the person's suspicion.
Yes.
Is that what happened here? Or did IDEC just take on the matter once Mr. Adams came to you to complain about the lack of progress?
The allegations made by Mr. Adams was serious.
No. This is not about the seriousness of the offenses. The antecedent question is there in existence, or are there in existence reasonable grounds for the suspicion that a specified offense has been committed? You don't start at the tail end, which is, but are these serious allegations? The entry point is, this person coming to make a Section 27 referral, does this person have reasonable grounds? And testing reasonable grounds is objective. So you don't rely on what the person says. The question is, objectively, when I look at this, are there indeed reasonable grounds for the suspicion? So that's where my question is. You do not, as you seem to suggest, look at the tail end. Are these serious allegations? And if they are, we go ahead. There may be serious allegations, but serious allegations may be unfounded.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So there must be reasonable grounds for suspecting that a specified offense has been committed, and obviously, or implicit in that, is that the offense has been committed by the person complained against.
Yes, sir.
Do you follow me?
Yes, sir.
Can you now respond?
Yes, sir. That referral was sent to the case committee. They looked at that referral. They made a decision that it falls within the IDAC space.
My
so
focus.
The decision on accepting it, and that it has grounds, reasonable grounds or whatever. That reasonableness, the grounds, is determined by that committee that sat there and made that decision, sir. That's the most that I can say on that.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Law.
Thank you, Chair.
Before you,
Yes,
before you
yes,
miss
ma'am.
it. Colonel, Section 27 says a specified offense. So it's a specified offense that gets referred in Section 27, in terms of Section 27, right? Now, you have to look at what is a specified offense, right? It refers to a specified offense, and here specified offense is a defined term. If you go to Section 1, right at the end of that section, just before Section 2, it tells you what is a specified offense. And it says it means a matter which, in the opinion of the head of investigating directorate, falls within the range of matters contemplated in Section 7.1, and any reference to the commission of a specified offense has a corresponding meaning. Now, as Chair pointed out to you, Section 7.1 has been deleted. It used to contain what is a specified offense. Now it's been deleted. So when IDAC receives this referral in terms of Section 27 from Member of Parliament Adams, what does it determine to be a specified offense?
Commissioner Baloyi, before the
coming?
Colonel responds, it was brought to my attention, and I forgot somehow in that short space of time. I think Colonel Padiachi spilled water on his table, as I understand, and it's suspected that's what had affected his mics. So the request had been, can we have a 2-minute stand down to deal with that? And I...
We'll come back in when we are told to.
Thank you, Chair.
Let's adjourn.
Yes. Colonel, I had asked you a question before we adjourn, but let me address it differently. Mr. Botlane, during the short adjournment, I checked with the evidence leader whether this is a topic that they intend to cover about the definition section, that it doesn't contain a definition of a specified offense, and yet Section 27 is relied upon. She indicated they would cover it. But on reflection, actually, I consider it may be not very useful to engage this witness about it. It's a question that should be reserved for the head of IDEC, because she's the one that comprises committees, she knows the protocols, she knows what is applicable. So I will not pursue that question with this witness.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay. You had, Colonel?
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloy. That was the comment I was going to make, that the ground we are covering now is ground that we had hoped to have covered by yesterday, because that would speak to the mandate, the power, authority, of IDEC in general, and that this current witness would then plug in and be specific in the context of the framework already laid out on the dockets that have been tendered to the Commission. So because we didn't have the benefit of that evidence yesterday, there was an attempt to at least contextualize what his real evidence and testimony to the Commission is by referring to the Act and its provisions. But it was never intended to have a legal engagement with him on the Act. Thank you, Commissioner. So the Commissioner is not insisting on an answer to her question. We may park that for Advocate Johnson when she returns. Commissioner Baloy confirms.
I'm not the witness.
If then you don't have to answer that question, I then would like to move on to the actual docket. Having understood, as I think I have, or I hope I have, how the system works within IDEC, I would like us to refer to what I call the Mukwele docket that IDEC disclosed to the Commission. And for that purpose, I would like to refer us to Commissioners CJC 377, and that will be in file 3, starting at page 681. The help is coming to locate the correct file. Can I? That would be CJC 377, and it should start at page 681. While we are locating that, may I just, I'm looking at IDEC's representatives, and I just want to check something. And confirm with Mr. Botlane, do you have the exhibits?
I don't. I was actually trying to find out from my colleague whether he has got the benefit of them, because we've got to follow the evidence as well.
I think there ought to have been a bundle for you, and a bundle was prepared. It probably is somewhere here in the building, but for the moment, may we loan you Advocate Mutasedi's bundles? Until lunchtime, we will address that. Because an electronic link was, you confirm you were served with an electronic link?
No. I don't know if there was service. There may have been, but it definitely didn't come to our attention.
I think your junior can confirm that there was service of the exhibit, of the exhibit files. And as it has been growing over the days.
I'm not a witness.
Commissioner Baloy now has given everyone. No, there was an electronic version these went to print on Monday when the last docket was provided. No, these went to print from last week because it's a combined exhibit file, including the witnesses from Friday. So the exhibit file has been growing over time, and as it was growing, it was shared with IDEX attorneys. But we had undertaken to provide them a hard copy version of everything that has been filed in the exhibit. That's why I say your box must be somewhere in the building, but for the moment, if you could use Advocate Mutasedis, I'd be thankful. Thank you.
Thank you.
So what do you have now is file 3, CJC 377.
We have it, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now that I think we are all on the same page. Colonel Padiachi, this docket was received by the Commission from IDEC, and it had been requested specifically. Now, the docket as we currently have it and as appears in the exhibit file is as was received. So it's not a docket that we tendered or we provided, it comes directly from yourselves. You confirm that?
I'm not sure I get you there, Council. Can you?
Okay, I'll try again. The Commission, the evidence leaders requested certain documents from IDEC, and included in that list of requests were certain dockets. The docket appearing as at page 681, bearing CAS number 452/06/2025, and we have marked it CJC 377 is a docket received from IDEC. Do you confirm that?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Oh, you confirm that that's the IDEC docket?
Yes, I confirm it on
Thank you.
here. Brooklyn CAS 542
Yes,
and the index 37.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Now, no, not index 37, index
No, I'm talking about the number of the annexure number.
377.
Yes, 37.
for the record, just to be
Yeah.
correct, 377, thanks. Now, before we deal with the contents of that docket, how does it work in IDEC? I've come to understand that with any docket opened, the first document is an A1 statement. Now, in this case, it is opened on the strength of a Section 27 referral, correct?
Correct.
So who opens the docket? Is it IDEC? Or who opens that docket? Because now you are seized with the investigation.
The docket is opened by IDEC.
The docket is opened by IDEC.
Yes.
So what would be the first document that goes into that docket the moment it's opened?
It will be an A1,
The A1.
A1 statement.
Okay. Where does the Section 27 referral go?
The Section 27, because it covers, not just one investigation, it has different legs to whatever it is there. That Section 27 does not go in the docket.
And if it
that-
did, oh, sorry.
That Section 27 is the complaint. It's there with the head of office. We go and physically interview. Refer this complaint. We go to him, we interview him, and we take a statement from him.
Okay. So would I be correct then, based on how you had described the process, that somewhere, not in a docket, but somewhere within IDEC, is an investigation file that contains the Section 27 referral, the committee decision, and I think the authorization to investigate and subsequently prosecute? All those documents will not be in the docket, but would be in some other file within IDEC. Would that be a correct understanding on my part?
I only work with the docket, Council. So that referral and correspondence is there on management level, which I believe that the head of office will be able to explain more on there.
You're being unfair on yourself, Colonel. You are a senior police officer. You have spent enough time in IDEC to know a bit about processes. You get a Section 27. You told us that the intake committee decides whether it falls within its mandate,
Yes.
the complaint. That must be recorded somewhere. You told us then the investigators and chief investigators are appointed. Then a decision is made whether or not to proceed to a Section 2813 investigation or to run a full-blown investigation in terms of Section 81. And then you referenced the authority to proceed. I assume all these are in written form. And my question is simply, where does one find that whole pack of papers? Surely you should know that.
No, I do not want to appear that I'm holding back or anything on that, Council.
Yeah.
Please understand me.
Okay.
All right? I'm the investigator in the level that I prescribed. The referral comes in, and it comes into to management. It is done. I get a copy of the designation where we designated on to investigate. So on the basis of that, I start the inquiry
Yes.
of obtaining statements.
Okay.
And then I compile my docket from there. I do not take the 27 and put it in a docket and start from there. I start from interviewing people to gather evidence for the criminal docket.
Okay. No, that's,
Can
I understand then.
Can I just, Ms. Silla?
Yes, ma'am.
Just related to this topic, this docket here, it says police station is Brooklyn. Can you just explain, is that how all your IDEC dockets look like? They record a station as Brooklyn?
It's a normal police docket, Commissioners.
Yes.
It's a normal police docket which we get from the station and we write on it
Okay.
and we register it. But it's a police docket.
So it's registered at Brooklyn Police
It's
Station?
registered at Brooklyn Police Station. IDAC does not have access to their own systems of registering dockets, so it's registered at the police station, the precinct with the offense found in.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. So what we have at page 681 is the preamble to a statement, as Commissioner Baloyi points out. It reflects Brooklyn as the station. And then it provides a CAS number 542/06/2025. Can I just share with you what I've come to understand about CAS numbers, and don't always trust my understanding though. I understand that the last figures, 2025, denote the year in which that case was opened.
Yes.
The numbers before the year 06 denote the month in which it was opened.
So it's the month, it's the register serial number according to the system,
Yes,
the month,
yes,
and then the year.
correct. And that's how I understood it.
Yes.
So then, based on that understanding, I too had is when I see 542/06/2025, I take it is case number 542, opened on June 2025 at Brooklyn Police Station. Is that fair?
That's correct.
And this is that then becomes your CAS number going forward, and
Yes.
that will attach right through to prosecution.
Yes.
And based on that understanding, I try to understand, if I scroll down, if you go to the bottom of that document, that tells me this was opened in June 2025. It has got a signature and a date, and the date reflected there is the 6th of January 2025. So if it bears the date of January 2025, how does it bear a CAS number of June yet to come? I might be confusing myself over nothing, but I was hoping you'd be able to clarify this. And I ask simply because you are the lead investigator in the matter, so there might be a very valid explanation to this.
I can give you clarity
Yes.
on that. During the preliminary investigation, a number of affidavits are taken in the early stages of the investigation, which is the preliminary investigation, where you are searching for your evidence. So once you put together all your evidence, at that stage your witness statement doesn't have a CAS number,
Yes.
right? Nothing is cast. So therefore, once you've got all your affidavits and all your evidence, and then you register a case docket, which could be months later, all right, then that statement, the CAS number will be written on the top. So it's obvious the CAS number now is on the date when the docket was registered. But the affidavit was taken in January. That affidavit was taken during the preliminary investigations. So that's why the date is January.
I understood you earlier to say the first document in a docket is the A1. If the A1, that statement of the complainant, is taken in January, then the docket is opened with that A1. Is my understanding wrong?
No, Commissioner. We're busy with the preliminary investigation. During the preliminary investigation, you will obtain statements, various statements, requests for certain documents, this and this. So you're busy compiling stuff. When you are ready with your docket to have it registered, because it's still in an inquiry at that stage, then you would register your docket.
You do recall that at some point I wanted an understanding as to when we move from investigation to a criminal case, have a CAS number.
Yes.
And you gave an example, particularly with this one, that you went immediately into a CAS number. So that would have been shortly after you received your Section 27. So, or maybe I have things upside down, topsy-turvy. Please try again.
Maybe I can guide you, counsel, and explain.
Yes.
You have a Section 27 referral that is sent in. And then your Section 2813 preliminary investigation commences. So it's an inquiry stage. So you will go out and interview the complainant, and you obtain his affidavit.
Yes.
And then you will continue with your investigation to get other supporting evidence or whatever in
Okay.
your preliminary. Your docket is not registered
Okay.
at that stage. So you have that complaint, but now you want to get more on it. So once you've done all of that, and then you're now going into your full-blown investigation, it's now ready, you'll register your case docket. That's why when you move further on, you'll see that some of the other statements are also taken to build up
Yes.
to a case docket.
Yes. Okay. So,
Can I just,
yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry if I interrupt your thought process.
Not at all, not at all.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I understand. Does then it mean that if your investigation, you don't have a case docket yet, you haven't opened a CAS on the system, does it mean that if your investigation results in you're not finding useful information, if you like, are you saying there will never be open a case, a CAS number? Because and I ask from my own experience, which is you go to a police station, you say this has happened, and they give you a case number before they do any investigations, and I now have a case number that I can give to my insurer that I have reported to the police. You seem to be describing a situation where you conduct an investigation, there's no record of it on the system, on the CAS system, and then you make a determination that there's nothing to see here, and the system is none the wiser about it. That becomes the end of that complaint. Can you just explain that?
Okay. With the police and the SAPs, person goes to the police station, to the community service center, he reports a complaint, and he registers, and they register his case. With IDEC, we get a complaint, a referral complaint. So we first start with an inquiry to verify this complaint, and that starts with a preliminary investigation. To verify, we take statements or whatever, and if there is a prima facie case, or what the complainant said in the complaint that it is there, and we've conducted this investigation, we conduct it under an inquiry number, right? It will be an inquiry number. And we find during the preliminary investigation, no, we have a prima facie case, it's supported by affidavits taken, then we register a docket and go into a full-blown investigation. Now, if we had to take a complaint in that section 27 and just go and open a case docket just basically on that, and then at some stage or the other it's found that no, but there's nothing here, then you have a case that's registered which adds to the volume of cases in the area in terms of statistics, if the Commissioner can understand.
So there's an inquiry number for this referral?
Yes, there's an inquiry number.
On your system?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you. So that inquiry number would suggest there is an inquiry file, and the first document, I take it, would be the referral affidavit and then the A1 statement and following.
In my documents will be the designation,
Okay?
right?
Yes.
And from the designation, I will go and take the affidavit. Everything that I do in that inquiry, because on the designation it will have the inquiry number. It
Yes.
will refer to an inquiry, it will be that 2813 is registered as inquiry, it will have an inquiry number. So that's the inquiry number that I will use for my investigation, for summonses to request documents, I will use that.
Yes.
So once my case is registered, finally at the police station, that inquiry number will fall out, and I'll be using a CAS number. That's why you'll find in some cases on subpoenas, you'll have a inquiry number and at
Yes.
a later stage a CAS number.
Oh, so that simply tells me that when you issued a summons during an inquiry, it will bear the inquiry number, and if you issued a Section 28 summons, after you have opened the case, then it will bear the CAS number. Thank you, now that helps. So if I just quickly go to just a small issue before I'm aware of the time, Chair, just to close on this topic. If you go to page 683, staying with the same file, 683.
683.
At 683 is the statement of the affidavit of Mr. Fadil Adams. And at page 684, at 684, I see it's commissioned. You see that? Colonel?
I'm going down to your document.
No, I
It's
thought
easier-
I thought it immediately follows the.
Yeah.
We're at 681, looking
Yeah,
at the CAS number and them.
I'm
Just
pulling
flip
it up
to-
on my electronic copy instead of the hard copy.
I prefer you work on the files before you, then we don't lose each other.
Okay.
Okay. I'll assure you, before the commissioners, that what's in the file is exactly as you gave to the commissions. Nothing has been added and nothing has been omitted. So you can trust the file. I'm at 683. That is the statement of Mr. Fadil Adams. And overleaf at page 684, I see it's commissioned. Correct?
That's correct.
I'm interested, even before we look at the content, at 684, if we go to that part after Mr. Adams' signature, it reads thus, and I hope you can help me, quote, thus done and signed at, no, I'll start again, thus done and signed to at Pretoria on this, the 6th day of January 2025, by the deponent who acknowledged that she knows and understands the contents of this affidavit. This affidavit was sworn to before me, and the deponent's signature was placed hereon in my presence at Cape Town. There's a commissioner of oath, and it's reflected as Dylan Perumal as the chief investigator. I take it that that's Mr. Perumal, you said, was the chief investigator in this matter.
That's correct.
My confusion, I guess, arises where it says it was signed at Pretoria, and it says his signature was placed hereon in my presence at Cape Town. Reading that, where was this statement taken and commissioned? Pretoria or Cape Town? It can't be both.
Commissioner, Chair, Commissioners, Council, I believe this is probably an administrative
Okay.
thing, so it's not Pretoria. From what I heard, this is Cape Town.
So it's taken in
It's
Cape
Cape
Town.
Town.
So reference
So we
to
can
Pretoria
rectify
there
that to
is
Cape Town.
incorrect. Yes, it might be a function of using. Yes, Commissioner Baloi.
Yeah, I don't know that you can make that correction unless you're telling us you were present
No.
when this affidavit was deposed to.
Chair, Commissioner, I'm just making the inference, so it's just an inference I'm making.
Yeah.
And from what I know, that this was not Pretoria.
Well, you
But
can only.
Mr. Chief Investigator Perumal will be able to,
Yes.
yes, he will
Yes.
be the one.
He's the one that must explain what
Correct.
happened here.
Yeah, Chair.
So we're not making any corrections.
Are you suggesting that when he was physically in Cape Town, that is Mr. Perumal?
Yes, I believe Chief Investigator
Does-
Perumal was physically in Cape Town,
But his base were in Pretoria?
in Pretoria, sir.
Does he carry around his Pretoria stamp when he travels? Because look at the stamp there, it says Pretoria.
The investigating,
Pretoria appears twice there
that's
on the date stamp.
that's our office stamp, sir.
I'm saying, does he carry it around? Would he carry it to Cape Town?
So normally we carry our stamps with us, sir.
That's very unusual. But that doesn't make sense then, because you would stamp Cape Town when you are physically in Musina.
So when you,
Why would you do that?
the way I look at it from the affidavit before me, if you look at the address of the commissioner who's signing the oath, his office address is given as Pretoria, and that's our office stamp that's next to it. So it's not that it is you're carrying a stamp to Pretoria to stamp an affidavit in Cape Town when it should be I'm not sure.
From what you are saying, that's exactly what you suggest happened here. Even
Yes.
though he's based in Pretoria, he was physically in Cape Town, and the affidavit was commissioned there.
Yes,
And
sir.
he stamped it with a Pretoria stamp, date stamp, even though he's in Cape Town. That's exactly what you are suggesting,
No,
which I don't understand.
let me get clear on it so I can
Yeah.
understand,
Yeah.
Chair.
Yeah.
Firstly, from what I know, but only Chief Investigator Perumal can expand and confirm on the statement. And this is from what I heard, that the statement was taken in Cape Town. But what I'm saying here, on this affidavit, Chief Investigator Dylan Perumal commissioned this affidavit. The address, his address, our office is Pretoria. So underneath his details, it can be seen Investigating Director IDAC Brooklyn, Pretoria. Our office stamp has Pretoria on it. We don't have an office in Cape Town. So his stamp, and therefore the stamp is Pretoria.
Did he have to, was it obligatory for him to stamp the document? Stamp it Pretoria when he's not in Pretoria? That simply does not make sense, because it's not giving the factual position. It's not stating the factual position. Even the indication of the office there. Let me just look. Expert Chief Investigating Directorate against National. Or I guess that's fine, because it's relating more to his position.
Yes, his position.
So yes, so there's no issue there.
Yes.
What's typed on there, basically
Yes.
explaining who he is. Maybe, I guess there's no issue there, but the issue relates to the date stamp.
Yes, sir.
And it sounds very strange to me that you carry your date stamps wherever you travel. What on earth for?
Commissioner, the only explanation I can afford, Commissioner, is in the way I see it, because we don't necessarily put a stamp on on the affidavit. but
Exactly,
there is,
exactly, because it's not even obligatory that you should have a date stamp on there. That affidavit would have been complete without a date stamp. By putting the date stamp on
Yes.
there, or affixing the date stamp on there, you are suggesting that this was commissioned in Pretoria.
yes, Commissioner, that inference
But-
can be drawn.
But which of course would be problematic because you
Yes.
also have Cape Town in manuscript
Yes.
written on there.
I think in the rare cases, Commissioner, that point that you made is taken, that if we are in Pretoria and we are obtaining statements in Pretoria, our state stamp is not a problem. But if we are taking affidavits in another province, we should keep that in mind. So I will take that advice from you, Commissioner, in good stead. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
So, sir, still on that, and I want to preface it by saying, firstly, accept this is Perumal's affidavit. It's not you that signed, but I want to preface what I'm going to say with this, that affidavits have been thrown out of court for non-compliance on these kind of issues. And one of the problems that there is here, and that Perumal would have to, Chief Investigator Perumal would have to explain, is in that very paragraph which the chair is discussing with you, in the second line, it refers to to the deponent as she knows and understands. And it's been a serious problem because it raises the question, was the deponent even in front of the Commissioner of Oaths? So that is one of the issues that are problematic about this affidavit, that I accept that he will have to come and explain and persuade that he took this affidavit in the presence of Mr. Adams, and it was Cape Town or Pretoria. But to go back to an earlier page at 681, where you say the station is Brooklyn, there's a date issue, there's a case number issue there, but when you look at the bottom of the document, it has a different date. The bottom of the document, it indicates it was signed on the 6th of January 2025, and then next to it, there's provision for member signature. It requires rank, name, and surname. None of that information is provided, and I have tried to see whether it could be Mr. Adams's signature, which it seems it shouldn't be because it requires member signature. And when I look at Perumal's signature, it looks completely different I'm no expert about that, but it looks completely different from the signature on page 681, which brings me to the question, do you go to Brooklyn Police Station and say, we need to open a docket, and that's where you get this preamble statement, or is this a form that is kept by IDEC in its office? And then when you get referrals such as Section 27, you then complete it and put in the name of the station. In time, you will put in the case number, but whoever puts in the name of the station on the 6th of January then completes it at the bottom. How does it work?
Commissioner, as far as I know, that the preambles of the statement is done when you are taking the affidavit itself.
This is a form that IDEC keeps with it.
Yeah, we
This
have
sets
copies of we have copies of these.
Okay.
IDEC is in the process of doing, in terms of the dockets and annexures where it says SAPS. We are continuously deleting SAPS and putting IDEC on it. So you look, for example, exhibit bags. IDEC has now got its own exhibit bags. So we are an office in progress where we
So-
are getting and moving away
So
from
at the
SAPS.
bottom of that page where it says member signature and then rank, name, and surname, I would expect to see the name of whoever created
Yes.
this document
Yes.
and their rank.
Yes.
Okay. And the date at the bottom would be the date when what happens, because
Yes.
it's a different date from the June 2025 at the top, which comes with the cars. The bottom number, the bottom date, what is that date supposed to reflect? What does it speak to?
The 6th of January 2025?
Yes.
At the bottom.
Yes.
It talks to the day the affidavit was taken.
Okay.
It's the same date the affidavit was taken.
And you say the affidavit is taken without a CAS number?
Yes.
Is that your evidence?
It still goes on the inquiry,
Okay.
Commissioner.
All right,
So-
thank you.
What you see here, if you just remove the CAS number, this is still an inquiry.
Okay.
But because the docket at a later stage was registered, in the docket, you've got to make sure everything from back to front has got the case number.
Thank you.
And I take your other concern, Commissioner, that a signature must be followed by initial and surname, identifying the signature.
Yeah, but you accept that we don't know who opened this on the basis of this
That is
document
correct.
in front of us.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just to close on this topic, then, this conflict between Pretoria and Cape Town at page 684, because I'd understood you earlier to say, upon the investigation being initiated, you took the statement of the complainant. That's what you had said. Unless, you say I, unless I meant IDEC in this instance. I thought you personally were present when the statement was taken. Or did I mishear?
No. The statement of I use it in the context that IDEC takes the statement of the complainant, but the particular statement that is before the commission now, I was not present.
No. That's exactly the point I'm making. I take you to this problem at page 684 because I'd understood you to have said that in this particular Mukwele investigation, after you got your authorization, you are appointed as lead investigator. I took the A1 statement. You remember a discussion about what becomes the A1 statement? I had understood you to have said that you took the statement. And I'm checking, did I mishear you?
No, that'll have to correct myself there. You know,
Okay.
we were talking about build-up, and it could be in that mix that
Okay.
I would
All right.
in that context. But in terms of the actual, what we actually have here, the Adams statement, it doesn't refer that I took it.
So your final
It's
position is,
it only appears in the processes of what we do.
what appears in the processes?
No, when I was explaining,
No. Sorry, we were already in the docket by the time I understood you.
then
If I'm wrong, the transcript will
Yes.
prove me wrong, and I'm happy. I'll correct myself.
I'll take it this way, and if it to correct myself, that I did not take the statement. So if it is mentioned that I took it, then I'm correcting it now. I did not take the statement, and I was not present during the statement.
No, I accept that, and I accept that I too may have misunderstood you. Just then, lastly, before we leave this document, based on Commissioner Baloi's questions, at page 681 and 682, the signature at the bottom has to be the signature of the person who takes the statement. Correct? Is that how we understand this document?
It-
681? You're on 681.
No, 681.
And 682, the same signature appears. Am I correct that that is the signature of the person who takes the statement?
Yes, that should be the person who takes the statement.
Okay. Now,
But on the next-
on your version, the version before you, that signature is not redacted. I would like you to compare that signature at 681, 682, and compare it with the signature at 684 above the name Mr. Fadiel Adams. I might be wrong, but it looks like the same signature, and it is markedly different from the signature by Mr. Perumal at 684, who's the commissioner here. Did Mr. Adams sign in the wrong place, or should I take
Yeah.
that signature to be Mr. Perumal's signature, although that doesn't look
I'm
like
going to put it in this context, Council. Chief Perumal, who took this statement, is best placed to answer in terms of the signatures.
Yes,
that-
no, for a fact, he is. I was just asking you, you are looking at it, you're an
I'm
investigator.
looking at it,
What
yeah.
conclusion would you draw?
The way I see it here is that this signature is put in the wrong place here.
It's put in the wrong place, or I'm more interested in between the two, who appended the signature at page 681 and 682? Is it Mr. Adams, or is it You call him Chief
The
Perumal.
the signatures on the bottom of the page appears to be Mr. From the way I look at the other signatures that are in the actual affidavit,
Yes.
it appears to be Mr. Adams.
Appears to me.
Yes.
And as we understand it, it by right ought to be the investigator or the police officer who takes the statement.
No, I'm not with you there, Counsel.
Now, I say, do I understand you correct that the signature that has to be appearing at 681 and 682 has to be the signature of the person taking the statement?
Yes.
Not the person giving the statement.
Yes, the
Okay.
person taking the statement.
We just have it the other way around here.
Page 2 should be the person that's the actual Adams.
Page 2 has to be the signature of Mr. Adams. The 681 is the signature of the investigator. Who's responsible for this form, for completion of this form? Is this the complainant or the person taking the statement? I would have assumed
the
that.
person that's taking the statement.
Yeah. So their signature, I thought, would appear at both 681 and 682.
Yeah.
And that the complainant's signature would only appear in their statement. Am I correct or am I wrong again?
Just come again, the Counsel. I'm not
I say,
sure.
I assume this being an official form, the signature at page 681 and 682 would be the signature of the investigator who takes the statement.
Yes,
I'm just testing.
yes.
And that the only time I would see the complainant's signature is where the complainant signs his own statement. Would I be right? I might be wrong.
On page 2, that's 682,
Yes.
that signature at the bottom, that's where the complainant signs.
Is that for the complainant?
Yes.
And the one at
And the one in
681
the front,
is for the
it
investigator?
states their member's signature. So that'd be the person that's taking the affidavit.
Okay. But what we actually have now, it would appear, right, at first blush, that Mr. Adams signed both
the wrong
page
place.
1, page 2, and his own statement. It
Yes.
would appear, and I'm willing to be persuaded that it's not his signature, but Chief Perumal's signature at page 1.
Am I hearing you correctly, Councillor, when you are saying on page 681,
Yes,
the signature on the bottom of the page is not Chief Perumal's signature, but Mr. Adams? Is that what you are saying?
yes, I'm saying if I compare, if you say the signature at 682 is Mr. Adams' signature, I say it looks like the signature at 681, so it's the same signature. And I say,
Yeah.
when I take those two signatures and I compare with Mr. Adams' statement, it's the same signature above Mr. Adams' statement. So the sum total of my interpretation is where Chief Perumal was supposed to have signed on 681, Mr. Adams signed. At 682, where you say the complainant signs, Mr. Adams signed, and once again, Mr. Adams signed on his statement. The only time Chief Perumal signs is when he commissions that statement at page 684.
Commissioner, Chair, I cannot comment on that. And I think Chief Perumal will be best placed, because what is there is the inference that Chief Perumal signed Mr. Adams' statement, is that's what's coming across. And I think that will be unfair for me to comment on that, because I'm not a handwriting expert and I cannot comment on, but he himself can comment, did you sign here or did not? If I'm understanding you
Mine
correctly.
was just a deduction, so
Yes.
I'll leave it there.
Yes.
And maybe I've seriously not maybe encroached into the
Yes.
commissioner's lunch, and perhaps we are all hungry now, so if,
Yes.
ask if this might be an opportune moment, Chair.
Yes, let's adjourn and come back at 2:20.
Thank you, Chair. Afternoon, Chair. Afternoon, Commissioners. Afternoon, Colonel, your microphone.
It seems
Oh, indeed. Thank you, Commissioner.
Colonel, good afternoon. Please go to page 681.
681.
Yes. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
It's the document that says preamble to statement. What exactly is it? Is it a cover page of a docket? What do you call this?
It's the cover page to an affidavit
Yes.
of an A1, sir.
Yeah. And who completed this document? Just looking at it. Do you know who completed it?
I'm not sure, sir.
Did you not ask? You are the investigation
No,
officer.
I did not ask. During this period of time in January 2026,
Yeah.
I wasn't around. I was out of the country.
You were out of the country?
Yes, sir.
But at some point you came back?
Yes, at some
And-
point I came back. I didn't ask about the
You
completion of
didn't
the
ask.
statement, sir.
I'm particularly interested in the description of the offense on page 682.
Sir?
Are you on 682?
682, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Do you see the section that says description of the offense? Just below the particulars of offense, there's a date there.
Description offense, yes, sir.
Yes, and it says fraud, corruption, irregular appointment of Brigadier Mukwele. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
Do you know where that fraud and corruption comes from? Who made the complaint that there was fraud and corruption?
So, as I said, the person that wrote this affidavit and took this affidavit will be able to comment on that. I would only assume that from what was in the A1, you have fraud and corruption. In terms of the case that we have registered, it is fraud and corruption.
I'm asking you because you've said you are the investigating officer, and you must have received all these documents. So I'm curious to know who said IDEC must investigate a case of fraud and corruption. Who said that? Who made that complaint? Do you know? If you don't know, you don't know.
No, I just got to be clear on what you're asking me, Commissioner, so that I can respond accordingly. As I said, initially that I did not take the statement, so I want to answer you as best as I can. When you look at what is described, the first departure point is an irregular appointment. Irregular appointment, misrepresentation, a gratification, so there is fraud and corruption. So I would presume that based on that, the description that was given here of the offense is given as fraud, corruption, and irregular appointment. But the irregular appointment is not a charge per se. It's more an explanation of the actual fraud and corruption.
So my question remains, who made a complaint of fraud and corruption? Who came to IDEC and said there is a complaint of fraud and corruption that I would like to make and for IDEC to investigate?
When we look at the referral, sir, Section 27 referral, where it talks about the appointment of a civilian lady, I think that's where it comes in the irregular appointment.
So IDEC made an inference. It did not come from a complainant. The complainant did not say, I believe that there's a case of fraud and corruption that IDEC should investigate. I'm just trying to understand IDEC's thinking. Not so much the merits of the case, but IDEC's thinking and how it got to where it arrived at.
What I can gather from what is written on the preambles, it's coming from the A1 statement.
Yes. Let's leave it. Let's go to the affidavit on page 683. This is Mr. Adams's affidavit on the same day, the 6th of January 2025. Are you able to put it up, Ms. Mutlasen? Same bundle on 683. I think you've seen the document before. paragraphs 2 and 3. So paragraph 1, Mr. Adams describes himself, Fediel Adams MP. And then in paragraph 2, he says, on or about early October 2024, I received information anonymously surrounding alleged fraud and corruption being perpetrated within crime intelligence. The allegations related to certain high-ranking police officials being involved in manipulating promotional and security vetting processes to unduly benefit a civilian person who worked for BMW South Africa being appointed as a brigadier in South Africa. She apparently has no policing experience and no management experience and was appointed as head of the technical support services. Do you see that?
I see that, Commissioner.
So is that where you say the complaint of fraud and corruption comes from?
Yes, sir. That's what I would take from here, that it's an irregular, a person was appointed irregularly
Yes.
to a post.
And what is the fraud and corruption, if I may ask?
Your fraud and your corruption is the unlawful and intentional misrepresentation of certain facts and which it prejudices the state. That's your fraud.
Okay. In this particular case?
In this in this particular matter.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
What I'm struggling with is it's just not clear to me whether somebody is saying a fraudulent CV was submitted or somebody who did not comply with the requirements in the advert was appointed. I'm just not clear what fraud and corruption is here. That's where I can see that somebody from outside was appointed and has no management experience.
Yes.
Is that the fraud, or is it something else that is not in this affidavit? What is the fraud and corruption, other than appointing somebody who is from outside as has no policing experience?
So I don't know whether I'll be looking at fraud is fraud. From the affidavit being taken and deriving from person taking the affidavit, allegations related to officials involved in manipulating promotional and vetting processes to unduly benefit somebody. So manipulation and the mere, what I grasp out of this, in order to get to this here, something had to be done and misrepresented. You know, that's the way I would see it. I know where Commissioner is going with it, but this has to deal, when you look at it, manipulation of promotions, how was it manipulated? What was done? Vetting processes, what was done? This person had no policing experience, what was done to cover up? So these are the things I'm taking in to derive where fraud comes in and where corruption comes in. Obviously, from the basis of this affidavit, I will take that now and go and look for further evidence, whether it comes from analysis or documents or interviewing with persons to fully understand. But when I look at it, something had to be done. Something had to be manipulated. Manipulated, it borders on misrepresentation of something for somebody to believe such. And when you look at the post itself and what is mentioned, I mean, that is the way I look at it, sir. But the person that's taking the affidavit, I can't speak for him.
I think I'm going to leave it here for now. So at some point we'll get to the adverts and the CVs and other things. I just needed to understand the two documents and what the complaint was.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Sorry, Colonel. You cannot use, because in response to the question by Commissioner Khumalo, you referred to an earlier part, the part that refers to these high-ranking police officials, open code, being involved in manipulating promotional and security vetting processes to unduly benefit a civilian person. That does not say much. Like if you say manipulating promotional and security vetting processes. That is a conclusion which must necessarily be based on facts.
Yes, sir.
What are the facts? There are none. And then you say to unduly benefit a civilian person. Well, I know you'll say the person benefited is the person who worked for BMW, and that the benefit is the appointment.
Yes, sir.
But what comes first is the manipulation. What are the facts for saying that there was manipulation? I know it's not you saying this,
Yes.
but you, as part of IDEC, are investigating this. And it goes back to what I said earlier, which is you only start investigating if this is a referral, if there is a basis for a reasonable suspicion.
Yes, sir.
So if all you have are conclusions manipulating promotional and security vetting processes, what is the manipulation? What form did it take? There's none of that, not on this. And it's on that basis that I say you have not answered Commissioner Khumalo's question.
Thank you,
Because
Chair.
in attempting to answer it, you refer to this, and this is lacking on facts. There's no factual basis.
Thank you, Chair. I'll try to explain it in the best I can. This affidavit, this section 27 comes in, it's referred. And then a preliminary investigation starts. At all given time, this is still an allegation. So when the preliminary investigation starts, you only have this to go on, which, as Commissioner Khumalo says, but look, there's nothing really much here, manipulation.
What I say is, absent a reasonable factual basis, you should not even begin, because that's the basis for the Section 27 referral. You do not even begin. I think when I engaged you earlier, I said, you do not start, if the Section 27 jurisdictional facts are not satisfied, you cannot say, let us commence with an investigation. Who knows, maybe we'll come across something that will show that an offense covered by Section 7(1) capital A has in fact been committed. That's not how it works. You must first establish whether there are, or rather the jurisdictional facts do exist. If they don't, you do not even begin to investigate. That is where Commissioner Khumalo's question lies.
Commissioner, I'm trying to answer it in the best way I know.
Yes.
And I'm not trying to deviate from something.
Yes.
This is how I see it, and what is given to me in the statement on the preliminary investigation, to say, go and look, there's an allegation here that's been made, and where further investigation was conducted in terms of documents and interviewing of witnesses. I hear that there's nothing in here, that this is what is being saying, but there's an allegation made here, a serious allegation being made here, that there is manipulation of processes by high-ranking officers, giving a civilian with no experience and appointing her in a crime intelligence post. So that for me is a flag. Promotion being manipulated, a civilian into a crime intelligence post with no experience. So that for me was the red flag, and I was satisfied. with that.
Colonel, you read when Ms. Sillo asked you to basically set out how the process works.
Yes.
You read a number of sections and you went all the way up to, was it 28?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And as part of that, you even read section 27, which sets out the jurisdictional facts for a referral. And you say this was a referral.
Yes.
Do you know what those jurisdictional facts are in accordance with section 27? Do you or don't you?
According to what is written in 7A, where it says fraud and corruption. So that's
No. I'm talking about the jurisdictional facts in 27 for a referral.
I'm still not catching you.
I'm talking about, okay, let me not talk about jurisdictional facts. Let me say the bases, as in plural, B-A-S-E-S.
Yes.
Do you know the bases upon which a referral may be made in terms of Section 27?
The basis on which the Section 27, it shows out that crimes were committed that falls within the mandate on 711A.
There's an important one. I engaged you on this in the morning. Let's look at it together. Just go there. The reasonable grounds to suspect. Reasonable grounds to suspect. You remember when I engaged you on that this morning?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's an important one. You cannot leave it out. So my question is, if you know those jurisdictional facts or bases,
Yes, sir.
and surely you do.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you have this manipulating promotional and security vetting processes with no explanation whatsoever, and even if you look at this together with the other statement, which is actually, as part of its heading, refers to Section 27 referral, that is Mr. Adams's statement. Even if you look at that, at least insofar as I look at this, I do not see how anybody within IDEC, including you, could have held the view that those jurisdictional facts have been satisfied. On what, as you sit there, on what basis do you say those jurisdictional facts were satisfied?
Commissioner, I'm only going to say that this referral was sent to management who approved the Section 27 referral and then authorized a Section 2813 preliminary investigation. So I take my cue from there. When that preliminary investigation is initiated. So I take it from there.
Besides the view that they might have held, as you sit there,
Yes, sir.
did you yourself satisfy yourself that the jurisdictional facts had been satisfied?
So
Let's leave out what they thought. You referred to the section, you quoted it, and even now as I'm engaging you, you appear to know what that section means. As you sit there now,
yes, sir.
are you telling us that, as at the time, you were satisfied that the jurisdictional facts were satisfied?
So that's why I continued with the investigation. When I was tasked with it,
Where you say, I do not know whether that answer says yes or no. Were you satisfied that the jurisdictional facts were satisfied, were met?
Chair, Colonel, my apologies, and I do apologize for interjecting. Perhaps before Colonel Padiachi responds, and I say this because I had him reference the Section 27 referral. The document Commissioner Kumalo was considering was the A1 statement.
No, that's why I deliberately said. That's why I deliberately said, even if I consider both this, meaning the A1, and the statement which is actually headed Section 27 referral.
Then
So I'm including both. It was exactly because I am aware, Mr. Law, that this one was not the referral
No,
itself.
that you are aware, Chair. I have no, it's whether the witness understands where you are.
Which
I wanted to make, which one
I'm referring
So
to.
I don't know if, as you pose
Okay,
the question,
all
we
right.
should call up Section 27
I hear you.
referral, and then he doesn't confuse the two statements.
I hear you.
Then
He may have missed my linking.
Indeed.
My linking of the two.
Yes.
Colonel, in referring to the document on which Commissioner Kumalo was engaging you, I also made specific reference to the document headed Section 20, or rather, as part of its heading, refers to Section 27 referral. You heard me make that connection.
Yes, sir.
Or refer to that document as well.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Now what I'm saying is, as as you sit there and bearing in mind, in particular that document, that second document, the one which as part of its heading refers to the Section 27 referral, as you sit there, are you telling us that as at the time, you were of the view that the jurisdictional facts had been satisfied for a Section 27 referral?
I'm going to say yes, Commissioner,
On what basis?
on the basis of the way I interpreted it.
No. This is about the facts presented.
Yes.
This is about the facts presented for purposes of the referral.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you look at those facts in conjunction with what is provided for in Section 27. But on the facts, what is it that made you satisfied that the jurisdictional facts had been met?
It's what was being said there. A person has been appointed in a technical post without qualifications. It's a civilian. For me, that amounts to fraud and corruption that needed to be looked at, to be verified.
At this stage, I will say that's a quantum leap in logic, but I'm sure Ms. Sillo is still going to come to that. It's a quantum leap in logic, because you know that many people get appointed in SAPS without,
Yes.
they cannot even salute, but they are appointed because of their expertise. I'm not necessarily saying Ms. Mukwele had that expertise, but that's what we've been told. And to just say because no experience within SAPS means nothing, and it's on that basis that I say that's quite some quantum leap in logic. But Ms. Sillo, I assume, will deal with it more extensively when the time comes.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I was intending to, Chair, perhaps, and this might be the logical point to deal with it. So then let me introduce the referral affidavit.
Sorry, before you do that, can I?
Yes, yes, Commissioner.
And I'm asking this on the back of how you've answered the chair and say you're satisfied as you sit there that the jurisdictional facts existed for IDEC to take on this matter. It takes me back then to my earlier question, which I said we will reserve for Ms. Johnson when she comes. And my question is this. Section 27 speaks of specified offense or something like that. It says there must be a specified offense. What is the specified offense that you say you were satisfied is present to trigger your jurisdiction?
My answer to that will be, when I read what is written in the 27 and on this, I draw the inference here, the inference that there is fraud and corruption. That is my answer to it.
27 speaks of a specified offense, and if you remember, I did refer you to Section 1, which defines what is a specified offense, and it defines it by reference to the now deleted Section 7.1. It says specified offense is the offense in 7.1.
Yes.
When you go to 7.1, 7.1 has been deleted.
Yes.
You sit there now, you say you were satisfied that the jurisdictional requirements were present. Therefore, it must mean you were satisfied that there is a specified offense as defined.
Yes.
And my question is, what is that specified offense that was previously defined in the deleted Section 7.1 that you found to be present, and as you sit there, you find to be present to have triggered the jurisdiction?
In terms of the 7.1A,
We're not at 7.1A, we are at 7.1. 7.1A doesn't speak to a specified offense. It has nothing to do with a specified offense. 27 is triggered when there's a specified offense. That's
Yes.
what 27 says.
Yes.
Now, the provision that used to list or to explain what is a specified offense is no longer there. And you say now to the chairperson, yes, the jurisdictional fact is present. I was satisfied, I'm still satisfied that it's present. And I say to you, well, it has to be a specified offense. Show us what is the specified offense with reference to both what is alleged in the affidavit, but two, with reference to the act that gives you
Yes.
jurisdiction to investigate this matter.
yes. Commissioner, I'm going to answer it in this way. When you look at the statutory offences and where I come across corruption, right? With the appointment, manipulation of the process, all of that, the fraud, corruption. Let's put the fraud aside. Let's look at the corruption. So when we look at the 27 and the mandate falling in terms of the statutory offence of PRECA, the appointment is one, is the giving of a gratification, and two, the receiving of a gratification in terms of section 3A and 3B of PRECA. And that gratification falls in the definitions of gratifications in section 1 of PRECA. So I'm deriving it from that.
Yes.
That it amounts around gratification.
Let me interrupt you. You say, your testimony is that IDEC gets seized of this matter because of a referral, by virtue of a Section 27 referral. Am I correct?
Yes.
That's been your testimony.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Section 27 tells you under what circumstances
Yes.
does a referral get made.
Yes.
It says if you reasonably suspect, if you have reasonable grounds to suspect that there is a specified offense that is committed or that is about to be committed, or an attempt is being made to commit a specified offense. That's an operational word, specified offense. It has to be a specified offense. Now, when you go to 7(1)(a), sub 1 used to contain a specified offense. It's no longer there. And sub 1A doesn't deal with specified offense. Sub 1A has nothing to do with this referral. It tells you it has to be serious, high profile, or complex corruption, commercial or financial crime. Sub 2 talks about fraud, those common law offenses. Sub 3 introduces PRECA. You have not testified that you acted in terms of PRECA. You've said, we acted in terms of a referral under Section 27. That's what your testimony is.
Yes.
That's what gave us jurisdiction. That's what got us started.
Yes.
And you say you are confident that the requirement in 27 is met. That's why you are able to investigate this. And what I have sought to show you, and I'm happy to leave it at you've given your best answer on this, is that 27 requires for there to be a complaint of a specified offense. There is no definition of specified offense in this act. So 27 could not be where you drew your authority from. That's what I'm putting to you.
I'm still struggling with it, Commissioner.
All right, your position is you acted in terms of Section 27, and you say it gave you jurisdiction.
That is it. An approved Section 27 referral, which was approved.
Okay. No, I'm not concerned about the approval. Yes. I'm concerned about your answer to the chairperson, that you are satisfied that the requirements that give you jurisdiction to investigate this matter have been satisfied. That's what you said to the chairperson, and that's why I'm having this discussion with you. But I've heard your answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Ms. Sillo,
Yes, Chair.
I hope I did not encroach too much on the terrain that you are still to
No,
cover.
not at all, Chair,
Thank
because
you.
they lead into each other. The two
Thank you.
statements are
Thank you.
inseparable. The issue really
Thank you.
is, and which is the next affidavit we're going to go to, we were dealing with the contents of the docket. The docket does not include the referral affidavit. That referral affidavit lies somewhere within IDEC. And it's the one we're going to turn to because now we know it was received and it has been submitted to us. So, but the link is truly appreciated between the two. And it's one we're going to seek to make ourselves. Before we leave this document at 681 and 2, the issue that, let's go to the actual statement at paragraph, the gist of that statement really is at 683 is at paragraph 2, the paragraph that Commissioner Kumalo took you through. It's a very short affidavit, it's 5 paragraphs. So excluding paragraph 1 and paragraph 5, because paragraph 5 then confirms that the deponent knows the contents of this. The gist of that statement, our A1 is paragraphs 2, 3, and 4. Paragraph 2 is the one that lays out the facts, not the facts, the issues that are raised. Paragraph 3 deals with, I was informed there were severally highly skilled and qualified senior police officers. So that doesn't speak to the complaint. It speaks to sort of the background and says, I'm informed that what happened in 2 happens in circumstances where there are several highly skilled and qualified senior police officers. So it doesn't speak to the complaint. 4 draws a conclusion that this type of conduct severely undermines the rules of the SAPS regarding promotions and vetting of senior managers at SAPS. So, and I interpret that to mean this type of conduct being the conduct referred to in 2, complained of. Do you agree with my interpretation thus far?
No, I just didn't catch your last part.
No, I'm saying paragraph 4, which states this type of conduct severely undermines the rules of the SAPS regarding promotions and vetting of the senior managers of SAPS. That is a conclusion that the deponent draws.
Yes.
And the complaint that the conduct he references there is the conduct set out in paragraph 2 that Commissioner Kumalo engaged you on. Do you agree with me? The conduct is the one described in paragraph 2. The manipulation of promotional and security vetting processes. I'm testing my understanding against you, the investigator.
So what you are saying, Counsel, is what is said in paragraph 2 and what is said in paragraph 4, that this type of conduct that's mentioned in paragraph 2
Indeed.
undermines the SAPS.
Indeed.
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay. So I'm saying then that is the end of the A1.
Well, can I test this as well?
Yes.
I had read it to include the complainant or the complaint to also include paragraph 3, especially because keep an eye on your charge sheet, that your charge sheet refers to a specific general that should have been included and was not included. So my reading of this is wider than Ms. Sillo's, is 2 and 3 are the conduct that is being complained about. 3 being that severally highly skilled and qualified police officers were overlooked by CI management. That is part of the complaint.
Yes.
So it's not just manipulation. It is that certain people were overlooked.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay. It's broader than I interpreted. I accept 3. Even that, but then that is the totality of the A1 the content of A1 statement. Okay.
Thank you.
This then leads us to the referral, because we must then see what was in the referral affidavit that provided the grounds for investigation by IDEC, correct? Because that's where we would see compliance with the requirements of Section 27. Would you agree? The Section 27 referral affidavit must comply with the requirements that the commissioners took you through in Section 27.
Yes.
Okay. That would be CJC 373, that's file 2. File 2 at page 512. Page 512, file 2.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to come back to that here.
Now that document is headed referral to IDEC for investigation in terms of Section 27 of the NPA Act, capture of the Crime Intelligence Division by senior police officers. For the record, and you confirmed earlier, this document does not form part of the docket that we have just cast a glance on, correct? It doesn't?
No, it's not in my docket.
Yes. And for the record, this is the Commission requested this affidavit from IDEC separately, and it was provided separately.
That's correct,
So,
Commissioner.
They stand separately. Let's look at this document then. It's longer than your A1, running into about 5 pages. I think you are very familiar with its content. It's fair to say.
More or less, yes.
My summary of what is set out here, without necessarily working through every paragraph, is that at paragraph 1, it simply refers to the 3 cases opened at the Cape Town Police Station and provides case numbers. You see that?
I see it.
And then the deponent says after these cases were opened, he was then informed that they were taken from the Cape Town Police Station to the office of the Provincial Commissioner, Western Cape.